Hey guys, so this video is going to be about astrology, and astrology is something that I've been interested in since I've been a kid, and I just wanted to go over the fundamentals of it in case it's something that you're interested in but you don't know a lot about. So most of us know when somebody says, "What's your sign?" we know what our zodiac sign is. It's a little bit more complex when we look at our chart because there is a sun sign, a moon sign, a rising sign, and then there are signs for other planets as well, including Mars and Mercury and Venus. But for the sake of this video, I just wanted to go over the fundamentals of each of the signs and also just to focus a little bit on sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. They're the big three when you're looking at somebody's profile, astrological profile. So the first thing to understand about astrology is that each cardinal sign or leadership sign starts with the beginning of a season. So it's seasonal. So the first sign on the astrological wheel is Aries, even though they are around March 21st, 22nd, because they are the beginning of spring. And we will be able to see how leadership signs initiate because they are the beginning of a season. Something is new. Somebody has to take charge. The signs that are in the middle of a season, and the next one would be Taurus in this situation, would be more of a fixed sign. And they are signs that get grounded. They like to set roots. They don't love change. They're in the middle of a season. They're kind of in it. And then the last sign of a season, and this would be Gemini for the spring season, are people that are a little bit more flexible because they understand that there's a transition that's about to take place. Now we're going into summer. We have a new leadership sign, which is Cancer. We have a new fixed sign, which would be Leo. And then we have a new mutable sign, which is Virgo. And this goes from season to season to season. So that gives you a sense of why we have what we call cardinal signs or leadership signs, fixed signs, or signs that are a little bit more in the middle of something, and then mutable signs that are a little bit more flexible, waiting for and getting ready for a transition. So that explains the types of signs. And I want to go a little bit more into the element of signs because that makes a big difference, right? So if you are a leadership sign like Aries and you're a fire sign, you're going to be bold. You're going to be a little bit more passionate. You're going to maybe be a little bit more assertive and aggressive than the next leadership sign, which is Cancer, because Cancer is a water sign and they are emotional. So they run deep, they look inside themselves, and I'll go into a little bit more of that as we go along. So there are the cardinal signs, the mutable signs, and the fixed signs, and then we go into the element of the signs. So fire signs are fiery, they're passionate, they like to get things done, they can be very bold, but they can also be a little bit impatient and impulsive because they have all that fire in them. And these fire signs are Aries, which is a cardinal sign. It's Leo, which is a fixed sign, and Sagittarius, which is a mutable sign. So now we're looking at two different aspects, right? We're looking if you're a leadership in a fire sign. We're looking if you're a fixed sign and a fire sign, mutable sign, and a fire sign. The next element is Earth. And Earth tends to be more practical and grounded and material oriented and resourceful and methodical. And they can also be a little resistant to change. So now we're looking at Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So Taurians are in the middle of a season, so they're already fixed. They already don't love a lot of change. And then they also have the Earth. So Taurians would probably be known to be more stubborn than the other signs that are Earth. We also have Virgo. Virgo isn't going to be quite as stubborn because they're getting ready for a change. They're adaptable. They know what they have to do. And then we have Capricorn, that's leadership, and they're stubborn. So they tend to lead a little bit more with a practical, potentially strong arm focus than the other cardinal signs. The water signs have emotional intelligence and they have intuition and they're sensitive and they're nurturing and creative. But water signs can also take things very personally, and they can also be a little too sensitive. So you're looking at Cancer as a leader, so they'll use their emotional intelligence and they'll use the depth that they have to really understand people, but they have to be careful not to take things too personally in a leadership position, right? Because that can throw their authority off. And then you also have Scorpio, who is a water sign and emotional, but they're fixed. They're in the middle of a season, so they can get a little stuck. They can be a little bit stubborn within their emotions and feel emotional and not be able to get out of the emotional state that they're in. It might take them a little bit longer to get out of an emotional state. And then you've got Pisces, which are ready for a transition. So Pisces tend to, like the two fish, they say, going in different directions. You're looking at people that are emotional, but they're also, it can transition through them a lot more quickly. And then you have air signs, which are intellectual and they're communicative and they're quick-witted and they're very social. These are all really good things, but they can also be overthinkers, which creates a lot of anxiety and overanalyzing things, which I think many of us can be guilty of. But they can also come off as being rather aloof, which is something for air signs to take note of. And we're looking at the leadership sign in this to be Libra. So Libra will lead, but they might be seen as a little bit aloof, and they might also use their thinking abilities and not look at other aspects such as emotions or some of the more methodical things that the Cancer and the Capricorn would. You have Aquarius, which is in the middle of the season, and they will be a little bit more fixed. They will be a little bit more settled in their routines and how they do things, maybe not be as flexible. And again, they can overthink things and have anxiety, but it's also because they're not able to navigate out of things as quickly as a Gemini can, because a Gemini has that mutable sign of being able to get ready for a transition. So I hope that combining these two gives you an idea of how they can each be affected by where they are in the leadership, where they are in the season, which will affect their being leaders, be more fixed and set in their ways, and mutable, ready for a transition, and also their elements. So we're all different. All the signs are different because there's no two signs that have both leadership and water, or they have the mutable and air. So there's those two factors which create the 12 different signs. The important thing to remember is that there is a sun sign, which is your core identity and your self-expression, your sense of self, and your innate gifts. That's your sun sign, but that can be deeply affected by your moon sign and your rising sign. Now, there's a whole chart and there's a lot of different factors in it, but if you want to just hit the top three, just to get an understanding without delving too much into it, it would be your sun sign, which most of us know because of the date that we're born. But if you know the time and the location that you're born, it's advisable to look it up and also understand how your moon sign is going to affect you. Your moon sign is about your emotional needs, how you show self-love, how you use your intuition, and your real inner self. The moon is really more of our emotions. So if you are a Leo and you have this fiery personality and you're kind of set in your ways and you know how you like things done, you're going to be somewhat affected if you also have a Cancer moon sign, because the Cancer in you is also going to show signs of leadership and emotional intelligence. A Leo with a different moon sign, say you are a Gemini moon sign, it's going to show up more as intellectualizing things, loving to communicate, and being very social. So these things are going to affect you. And then we add the rising sign. And the rising sign is how we come off to other people. It's our first impressions, it's our social personality, it's more or less like our costume. So these are the things that I wanted to just pass on to you. If you want to look up your zodiac chart, I will put a link below, and just one of the many sites that you can put your information in. Again, you have to know your time of birth because that will affect your rising sign and it will affect your moon sign potentially, but definitely will affect your rising sign. So I'll put that link below so you can take a look at it and you can get a better idea of how you navigate the world. They'll give you plenty of descriptions, so we'll go into a little bit more detail that I'm able to do in this video, but I hope this helps you on your journey of self-discovery, understanding yourself better, possibly understanding your mates better, your colleagues better, your family members better, people that may be a mystery to you and you may be a mystery to them. It may be that you just see life differently and you navigate life differently, but it doesn't mean that anybody is wrong or deficient. It's just different. And sometimes learning about people, when we understand how they're different, we can see how they can help us in our journey. Be less sensitive, be less aggressive, be less full of anxiety, whatever that is for us. I hope this video helps you, and if you like this, please like, comment, and follow for more. Thank you so much for watching.